So tonight I caught up with a film that I had wanted to watch last year, and it was only in theaters here in Atlanta for like a week, and it happened to be while I was in South by Southwest, so I missed it. And then I don't know, I slacked on renting it, and so then I didn't see it. And this would be Ry Russo-Young's Before I Fall. It's got a screenplay by Maria Magente, who did Puccini for Beginners, which was a film I really enjoyed many years ago when I first saw that, as well as The Incredibly True Adventure of Two Girls in Love, which I intend to watch later this year because I finally tracked that one down. I have not seen Ry Russo-Young's other films, so I'm probably going to have to check those out as well because I was a big fan of this film. It got kind of mixed reviews, and I feel like often sort of genre films featuring teenage girls always get mixed reviews. But like genre films with teenage boys tend to be just fine. So take that as you will. I enjoyed this immensely. I think that if I had seen this film as a teenager, it would have been my favorite thing. I would have been obsessed with it. Even though I'm not a teenager, I'm still kind of obsessed with it and really enjoyed it. It stars Zoey Deutch as a girl named Samantha, who is waking up on February 12th, known at her school as Cupid's Day, the day when they pass out roses to all of their fellow high school kids. Wow, I'm so old now that I'm like, what are they called when they're in high school? Students. And she gets picked up by, she's sort of, the first day, she's sort of nasty to her sister and kind of mean to her parents. And then she has her friends played by Lindsay, played by Halston Sage, Allie, played by Cynthia Wu, and Elodie, played by Medallion Ramini. And they're all kind of bitchy to each other, but also sweet because they're, sweet and sour friend group. She has her boyfriend, played by Kian Lally, who she's decided she's going to sleep with that night, as well as a friend from the past named Kent, played by Logan Miller, and the girl that everyone makes fun of by Elena Campuris, as well as the one lesbian character, and you have to have a lesbian character in a Maria Magente film, played by Liv Hewson. All of these characters interact throughout the various different days that set each night at exactly 12:40 a.m. on the 13th. It's not Friday the 13th, it's Friday the 12th, and then the middle of the night / morning, Friday the 13th, or Saturday the 13th. So much like Groundhog Day, each time she tries to do something differently in order to change and wake up, and she doesn't. And it has similar aspects to Groundhog Day, like she goes through the grumpy, angry phases and the do whatever I want phases. And then eventually, much like Groundhog Day, she realizes that the best way to live is to be wonderful to everyone and to appreciate everyone and everything that you have in your life, and to try to live your life so that you're making it a better place for everyone who interacts with you. There's more than that. I don't really want to spoil that because each different day she deals with a different aspect of the people who are in her orbit, and each scene is so wonderfully calibrated to have her learn something new that I really enjoyed watching it. As I was watching the film, I kept trying to figure out why Zoey Deutch looked so familiar. That's because, one, her mom is Leah Thompson, and two, her dad is Howard Deutch, who directed one of my all-time favorite movies, Pretty in Pink. Her mother is played by Jennifer Beals in this movie. She doesn't get enough screen time, really, but like any screen time with Jennifer Beals is good screen time. And I just noticed here on the internet that Nicholas Lee played her dad. He is Krychek from The X-Files. Holy crap, now I have to go rewatch it just to see him. He looked old. Krychek has gotten old. Oh my god. That means I'm old. I am old. It's okay. So I think this movie, part of why I think it wasn't well received was it people were like, yeah, it's not as good as Groundhog Day. So what? It's not Groundhog Day. It has a similar premise, and there's been a million TV shows with this premise, since Groundhog Day sort of did it, and it's a trope now. Like, deal with it. What's important is when a trope exists, or the type of film, how do they make it different? And in this case, it's a really interesting look at the dynamics of teenage girldom, and specifically like mean girldom. And I think it has some interesting insights in both the way in which Mean Girls have changed over the years with these like young millennial, like, I don't know what's after real millennial, because these are even younger than millennials. These kids are like 10 years, 17 years younger than me, so they're a whole nother generation, and I'm a millennial, so I don't know what we call them. Z generation, is that what they're called? But how those Mean Girls are very similar to like the Mean Girls of Heathers, and you go even further back to there were like mean high school girl movies in the 50s, and these Mean Girl groups always have aspects that are similar and aspects that are different depending on the era in which the film is made. And so, of course, in this film, you have everyone sort of bullying and interacting both in person and through their phones and through apps. What I did like about it, though, and what will I think make the film age well, is that the apps are very limited in that the kids use them, so it doesn't feel like it doesn't understand how children, teenagers, whatever, behave. But they're not used in such a way that in 10 years you're going to be like, oh, how funny, technology, So I liked that, and I think this lead actress just is endlessly watchable and is able to emote all kinds of different feelings just with the intonation of her voice, which obviously is very important, but also in her interactions with the various characters. I don't know. I thought it was really great. It's based on a book, so I'm gonna track that down. I'm always looking for a new book to read. I have way too many books in my house already, but whatever. I'm always looking for new books. You can never have too many books, even if you haven't read all of your books. This is the truth. So anyways, I really enjoyed this. It's available for rent. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, but you can rent it, so check it out. Definitely worth your like $3 to rent it, I promise. This is Ry Russo-Young's Before I Fall, with a screenplay by Maria Maggenti, and I thought it was absolutely delightful. I don't know if you call it a drama, a mystery, fantasy, thriller, horror. I'm not sure what. It's like many genres all mixed into one, but you call it a fantasy, thriller, horror, teen girl movie. If you like any of those things, you should check this movie out. And I look forward to more from Ry Russo-Young, as well as more from the actress Zoey Deutch, because she was quite good. This is Before I Fall. It came out last year, 2017. You can rent it.